It's yours truly, Bitcoin from the Big Chubowski, haha. People have been asking me a lot, like, how do you do the JML versus JMK fight? A lot of people are struggling with it because you go with a pretty light team, you use your JKR, JKL, hYoda, and Jolee, and then you're facing these fun guys like Relic 8 General Skywalker and often a higher relic Ahsoka or CAT than you see here. But it's really easy to mess up this fight, and in my opinion, it's like on the level of difficulty of Vader versus Rey, where with a good written guide and a video, it can go right, but it can also derail really quickly. So hopefully with this video, I can help you to understand how to play this fight better, so you can practice it in Arena now that it's around a lot, because it may just help you a lot in your future Grand Arenas and potentially some territory wars. So I'll walk you through, I'll pause at a bunch of critical moments because really every single move that you make in this fight matters. And I do make some mistakes in this fight, but I'll point those out to you when they happen. So hopefully that helps you to get a better grasp of this match. Now you put hYoda in the 4th slot here because it's kind of handy to actually be able to see him. And the only special modding you need on this team is a crit avoidance arrow on Jedi Master Luke, as it helps you to survive a lot better, and then good health and crit avoidance / tenacity on your Jolee. So I'll pause it a bunch of times, and especially right now, because this is where a lot of these fights go wrong. People tend to start with either Flux, which is completely wasted on the foresights and tenacity up, and you also don't gain any turn meter. So the only thing that remains from Flux is crit avoidance or crit immunity, and that just doesn't really help you at this stage of the fight too much. So what the second mistake people then make is they target Cat and they push back her specials, which again, it doesn't make sense because you just want her to use that insta-kill on JML right now so that it's out of the way and that it doesn't happen at a later point where maybe he isn't taunting. So again, no point in controlling her. The biggest advantage you can get here is to push back Jedi Master Kenobi's cooldowns so that he does not put the healing immunity on your Jedi Master Luke just yet. So that's how you want to start the fight, and then you put that special on hYoda so that with his little heal there, he tops up Jolee a tiny bit again. Now, at this point in the fight, a lot of people will make a second mistake. They'll see the swap available, they'll swap to Jedi Knight Luke, and then they'll try to stun the entire team. And while it's not the worst choice in the world, the tricky part is that actually we're gonna want General Skywalker to go because his AoE can be very deadly. If we stun the whole team now, then actually he's gonna move at a later point in the fight when we cannot predict his move that well. And that's when you actually start getting issues. So we don't want to stop him from using a special or any of the others really. So it's much better to just let them be. And in this case, direct focus on Cat. Now in the fight, you'll see me hesitate here a bit because it's actually the first time where I fight a Cat that's slower than my JKR. So all of the direct focus damage goes to waste here, which shows that even when that happens, you can still win. But it's a good scenario to have tested. Now, as mentioned here, this is also a really important point of the fight. Gas is about to go here, and your team looks really vulnerable. If he gets an AoE off here and crits all of these characters, he pushes back everyone's specials, which is going to be a pretty big problem. So this is where instead of using Master's Training, you really want to use the Foresight. Even though there's not much to heal, this is an absolute lifesaver. So that's what I do here, and you see him coming in, and all he gets done is the armor shred and a little bit of damage on JML. So what they often do here, you're already starting to see it, they're going to focus JKR a lot, which is to be expected in this fight. And we're also at a point here again where Flux is available. It's very tempting to use it, but again, 4 foresights and 4 tenacity up, it just doesn't really get much done. The only thing it would do here is again give you that crit immunity, but what's much better is to start building the ultimate on JML, because that's what's going to make this fight a lot easier, and he doesn't really have it at the moment. Also, the only character at the moment with lessons is hYoda, so we have to get it on the other ones as well to start building the ultimate as soon as possible. So that's what you want to do here. I put it on JKL in this case, and start building that up as soon as possible. Same with Jolee, don't use his assist call because there's still lessons to spread, and that's what we want to do. Now here, Again, very tempting to use the special, but what you need to know is that Jedi Master Kenobi is hard-coded to use his ultimate if anyone has a dispellable debuff on the field. So he wouldn't use it right now because CAT's debuffs can be dispelled, but the moment I put on blind or stun, he's going to use that ultimate, which, like, on the one hand, it's a good thing. I'd rather have him use the half ultimate than a full one, but if I waste the stun and he immediately cleanses it, that's just not useful in any way. So instead of doing that, the one option would be to use blind, but again, that goes to waste. A better option is to use the lessons to call JML, who puts down buff immunity, as you can see here. And then JMK goes like, oh no, buff immunity, let's cleanse that, and wastes his ultimate. So again, I think third point in this fight where you're looking at F-Lux and you're like, oh, I love F-Lux, it's so good against other teams, but it's just not good against JMK. So again, you want to use the lessons here, not the F-Lux. The F-Lux only happens at one point later on in the fight when it's actually ideal to use it. But other than that, just build up the ultimate because we're 1.5 minutes into the fight, halfway to the ultimate, and this is actually like a pretty fast-paced fight in general. So now what's nice is you can actually swap because as you could see there just a split second ago, all of them have foresight. So the swap now is perfectly timed to go to JKL and to then stun the whole team because there's nobody who can cleanse them. So here you see waiting with those specials kicking in because now you're in a much better spot. And here I think I make my first mistake of the fight. I put that Master's Training on Jedi Knight Luke for the damage, but you should absolutely put it on Jedi Knight Luke, but you should absolutely put it on Jedi Master Luke because it gives him more defense and makes him survive longer, which is much more important than JKL getting a little bit more damage. Is this loser still hitting Kenobi there for 8k? Now again, no F-Lux, just keep going on CAT, keep calling the lessons, keep filling that ultimate. It's just much more advantageous than wasting the F-Lux while you're gonna get countered like crazy. So there they get the first kill on Jedi Knight Revan. They really tend to stalk him as mentioned. Once that happens, no stress. It's Jolee you need to worry about going down. And JKR is just there to distract them. So again, I push back the specials on Jedi Master Kenobi and use that to heal with hYoda. That's much better than going for anything else. The alternative is again using lessons, which is also acceptable. So I'm almost at full ultimate here. And again, I just stick with CAT. And he really starts taking a beating here. Now, if I would not have a crit avoidance arrow, JML would be dead right now. Maybe if he had Master's Training, he would look a bit better, but might also still be dead. So that's why that crit avoidance arrow is so important if you're wondering, why are we putting that thing on? Why not just stick with protection or with speed or anything else? And here is where Jolee would then hopefully revive JML and JKR, but yeah, it depends a bit on where you're at. Now what's important there as well with the revive is if Jolee is looking pretty bad, then you actually want to put the revive on himself so he gets the protection up, because that allows him to stick around a bit longer until his next revive in case he needs it. Just small little details. And now again, no F-Lux. We want to do lessons. We're almost there. Finally got to the ultimate. And here, look at what Gas does there once he's not controlled. 4 dazes, everyone's cooldown's messed up. That's really dangerous. If he would do that at the start of the fight when you don't use foresight with hYoda, you'd be in a pretty rough spot. But now it doesn't matter because actually he just burns the savior that was never burnt because JKR got killed first. And JML looks great. And he goes into ultimate, and with just, 2 minutes left on the clock, we're finally getting somewhere. We can direct focus CAT again. Remember, she did not burn her savior thing yet from JMK. So you just want to direct focus, make sure she's dead. Again, perfect time to stun. JMK just used his ultimate, so now there's nobody to pull them out. And now we can put the Master's Training. I don't know why I put it on JKR here. That's another mistake. But now is actually a solid time to start pushing them back a bit. They all have vulnerable, so once JML takes his next turn, I can F-Lux without any problems now. No more need to call the lesson specifically. But here you see finally F-Lux actually being useful. just very late into the fight, 1.5 minutes to go. So you never really use it before that. I just keep controlling Kenobi. And Gas is the next target here. So he'll go down pretty quickly now. There's not much that's going to stop me. And then I can go for Jedi Master Kenobi, because the other two are pretty weak in terms of damage. Not really a concern. And I can really just start spamming F-Lux whenever it's available. And keep control of Kenobi. And from here on out, the fight's really easy. So I hope you noticed there that throughout the whole thing, there were quite a lot of critical points to keep in mind. Getting the cooldown reduced on Jedi Master Kenobi at the start, putting up that foresight with hYoda, direct focusing CAT rather than swapping to JKL to stun or something, then tricking the AI into wasting their ultimate, after that finally stunning after they've used their ultimate, and then just kind of biding your time, putting Master's Training on JML and building up your own ultimate. So hopefully that explanation helped you to figure this one out. It's definitely a tricky fight, but I hope with some voiceover you also understand all of the decisions rather than make all of the mistakes yourself and then learn in another 20 fights or something. It's definitely very winnable, but a pretty tricky fight. So good luck in the future, and let me know if you have any questions.